Now, the next speaker, we have our former club president, Toastmaster Brian, tackling speaking to inform manual number 4, a fact-finding report. So please, Toastmaster Trevor, read his speech objectives.
Yes, it's a fact-finding report. Ladies and gentlemen, the objectives: prepare a report on a situation, event, or problem of interest to the audience. Deliver sufficient factual information in your report so the audience can make valid conclusions or a sound decision. And answer questions from the audience at the end of the speech. The speech will be a 5 to 7 minute speech. So 5, 6, 7 with the lights. And then there will be a 2 to 3 minute question and answer period after the speech is over. And of course, that'll be lights 2, 2.5, 3 for red at the end of the speech. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Trevor. Reinventing District 97's public relations. Reinventing District 97's public relations. Toastmaster Brian.
Before I begin, can you hear me? And is my text mirrored or not? Can you read the text? Yes, it's not mirrored. Okay, thank you. Where do you source your information about Toastmasters and news from the district? Can you please type on the chat? I'll give you around 10 to 15 seconds so I would have an idea on where you get your information about Toastmasters or about District 97. Or are you even aware that we have a district beyond our clubs? I can see Facebook, friend, and line. Thank you very much. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, did you know that of the 10 newsletters that we released to the district on the past 11 months, with a target readership of almost 12,961 people, it was only opened at a rate of 2%? That's a mere 286 people of the almost 13,000 who received it. This is just one of the few facts that I have discovered when I launched a fact-finding investigation on the problem as to why some members of District 97 complain on not receiving information on some district matters, and as to why there's a low turnout in our PR campaigns. I thought, is this a case of blind sender, ignorant receiver, wrong channel, or an unappealing message? Before we look at the communication cycle, let me share with you in brief on how we communicate our campaigns and messages to our members on District 97. So we have what we call the external communication channels. And we use these channels to deliver and send out messages to the public, like those outside of Toastmasters. So we use Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and our website. Now, these channels are also used as the secondary internal communication channels. Speaking of which, our internal communication channels, meaning the channels that we use to communicate with our members, are Line Group for members in Thailand and Messenger for members in Vietnam and in Cambodia. And we use email and newsletter to reach out to the members in the entire district. So if you can see, we have covered all aspects, almost all aspects of mass communication channels. But why do some members still don't get the message? Is this a case of a blind sender, ignorant receiver, wrong channel, or unappealing message? Now let's get deeper into the investigation. Let's look at the official and major communication channel that we use to reach out to members. And these are email and the newsletter. So we have sent 10 newsletters on the past 11 months, and it has an expected 13,926 readership based on the people that we send it out to. Now, on that number, only 93% opened it, around 12,961 recipients. So it's a good number, actually. 93% of these people received the email. It went through their email. The rest of the 7%, maybe it bounced back, there was a wrong spelling, or their email is full. On this number, from the 93%, only 3,888 people actually read them. That's 30%. What does it mean? After they receive the email, only 30% of the people click and open that email. What's worse, only 2% of the 93% recipient just click through and read the newsletter. That's only 286 people. So you see, when we send out the newsletter, it just comprised of headlines, and then there are links for more information. So what I can see here in this investigation is they just get through and read all the headlines that there is, and maybe there's something that interests them that they would click on, or maybe something that does not interest them and they wouldn't click. Now, it brings me back again to my question. Is this a case of a blind sender, ignorant receiver, wrong channel, or an appealing message? Let's dig in more to another channel which we use to reach out to our members. That's line. So we have actually different line groups. We have one general group with 131 members, and I saw 80% readership, meaning they read through the message. We also have a group for the presidents, vice presidents for education, and secretaries with 85 members and 85% readership, and the VPPR group with 44 members and 75% readership. Actually, the rate here is high, but there's no way we can determine if they actually click on the links that we sent in there. So I have reckoned that it's best to put on all information on that line without links at all. Was that a case of a blind sender, ignorant receiver, wrong channel, or unappealing message? We cannot solely rely on our secondary media channels because the focus of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram is for external PR. That's to PR Toastmasters to the public, and we cannot measure its reach within our members. So there are things only for members and we cannot do, and we don't need to discuss in the public. With this information in hand, I have designed this model, which I call the Toastmasters District PR Communication Model, to address that need. All information would come from the PRM, which is myself right now, and then I will send out the information online, area directors, and to the club officers, and they themselves also can get information within them. And with these three people, they'll be the one to reach out to members. Members can get the information from online, members can be reinforced to get the information from the area director, and members can also be informed from their club officers. So with this model, I thought that we had solved the blind sender and the ignorant receiver, and hopefully we have built a better channel to reach out to our members. And to address the unappealing message, the PRM can have a team, a PR team, which he can consult on how to message or package the message better. For more than after a year of being a PRM, I have finally realized, and it has been, I've lived with a dictum, and I hope you can identify yourself into this, that there's only so much you can do. The ball is now on their court. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster. Or before that, I can ask a few questions.
Q&A sessions. Well, I've got one question, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
When you send email, you said you got about 30%, response rate of people opening the email. In a business context, that's actually pretty high if you think about it. like from what I know, a lot of emails, you know, like email sales campaigns, it's considered successful to be just, you know, having 5 to 10% response rate. So.
Okay, thank you for that. At least we can say that there's a success on that in terms of business aspect.
Hey, Brian, it's Anthony. Can I ask a question?
Yes, Shankar, go ahead.
My question is, have you been able to get the same kind of statistics and information for other districts to compare how this one is? And have you been able to ascertain any of the solutions that other districts have used?
Thank you, Toastmaster Anthony, for the question. I would get that as a suggestion. I haven't done that yet. I just did the fact-finding investigation within the week, and I will do that because after the district, we have the region level. So I can reach out to my other district PRMs in the region to check on how well their messages are received. But without the statistics, by just our previous conversation and peer meetings with them, I found out that there's a very high response rate in their PR campaign. So that's also one reason that led me to check on why ours is not having that huge response. Like, for example, if they will launch like a club poster contest, almost half or more than half of their clubs, based on the report, respond in joining.
May I have a question?
Send me a message. Yeah, Toastmaster Shankar, please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for your very nice presentation. So you have identified 2 channels of communication. One is internal communication, that is line group, Gmail, Messenger, and newsletter. Another is external group of communication like social media, such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on. So I'm wondering, how do you prioritize your message? I mean, which message, how do you prioritize your message, and how do you send a message to different group, like external group or like internal group, and how do you manage that? Thank you.
Master Shankar. So as social media matters, they have tools which in just one click, the message would send out to different channels. So actually in our case, the priority for external communication is Facebook. And then we replicate almost the same messages to our Instagram and to our LinkedIn. But these different channels have different target audience. So for LinkedIn, it's for professionals. For Instagram, the younger generation. But in terms for members, then we use email and newsletters, which are directed to their emails that they use to subscribe to Toastmasters International. So it means if our messages didn't get through, for sure, emails from Toastmasters International also don't get through their emails. So to answer the question, we prioritize Facebook, emails, and newsletter. So we use Facebook as secondary communication to target our members as well. So we tag the clubs, we tag members when necessary. So yeah, we hope that works. Thank you. I hope I answered your question.
Okay, I'm Saiful from Malaysia. Okay, I'd like to ask a question. The rate of success of any campaign, because I read from your studies about 1 year study. So I just want to know, how's the renewal and the recruitment of new members in your club? Is it shows in the, also compare it to the campaign that you done?
I would take that question as a suggestion to compare on the results of the PR investigation as to the renewal in our district. So at least we can see if there's a significant difference or a significant relationship with the both. Thank you.
All right, ACB, Brian?
Yes, last question probably from Toastmaster Sarah.
Yes. Do you foresee a future where email marketing or email newsletters being sent by email is, ultimately going to come to a halt because everyone seems to be very comfortable with the various social media platforms? Do you think you foresee a future like that?
Thank you for the question. If I'll play a role as a fortune teller, I would say not in the near future, because business correspondents still trust email as the major and a major and official source of information. social media would just be there to reinforce the message. But I think it will still continue. We don't have much time. Thank you very much for all the inputs. Your questions are very helpful, and I will take note of all suggestions. And thank you very much also to our, I think it's okay to announce right now, our future and incoming PRM, Toastmaster Diksha. She's right here, and I hope you got something from this report. And I hope those of you who are interested to be the next club VPPRs will have got something from this report. Back to our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Brian, and the question Q&A sessions, especially the first question, a very intelligent question. Who was laughing? I couldn't hear. Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, Chiang Mai Toastmasters' secret sauce to success is our very own Chief Marketing Officer, Toastmaster Brian. So please, a round of applause for our Chief Marketing Officer.
All right. For the last speaker, we have Toastmaster Brian that will be evaluated by Toastmaster Trevor. Okay, Toastmaster Trevor, the screen is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can really hear the voice of experience here, I think, tonight. And I don't know how many thousand speeches Brian has done, but I can really hear it. He opened up with a definite question which dragged the audience in. And of course, it's of interest to us at the same time because it's obviously about Toastmasters. And where do you source your information? Well, that got us all thinking in the beginning. Now, the speech was pretty good. So the things that I'm going to talk about tonight, I'm just going to be a bit picky about the speech in itself, but they're not huge things. I think when he starts mentioning numbers like 12,961 members, you see, you can personalize numbers and things like that. You don't want to start sounding like an accountant. So you personalize and you go 12,900. Wow, that's a lot of members in this area. And I'm overwhelmed by that number. But do you know what? Only 286 actually receive it. And I'm a bit disappointed in that. And this is what my speech is about tonight. See, so you can personalize the actual numbers in the speech. Now, as he went down, we were talking about a lot of things and there was a fair bit of information in, but I feel in the second part of the body, the numbers were rattled off too fast and didn't have any meaning. Because you've got to slow down with numbers because people are not familiar with them and they've got to take them in. So there needs to be almost a little story about each number so that we can take it in. And he also told us he was a PRM. Well, what's that? Most people are not going to know what a PRM is. So we've got to explain definitions like that as you go through on the speech. And then in the end, see, I look at speeches as how, when, where, why, this type of informational speech. You're going to have an how, when, where, why. And we got the how and, we got the when, the where, the why. But I don't feel in the end we got the how. You see, how to package the message better was one of the near last stages. And the final statement was, the ball is in their court. Well, it started off, there's only so much you can do. The ball is in their court. I'm not sure that is the solution to what we were looking for. We didn't actually get a solution to the problem, so we didn't get a how in the end of the speech. And I think we just needed to get a little bit more information as to how we might conquer the problem that we were presented with tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, the questions were answered successfully. Certainly evidence was presented, communicated effectively. It was interest to the audience, a very clear voice, and a great structure to the speech. Congratulations, Brian, again. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Trevor, for the report. It is a very good report. It's a very good report, I would say, it's straight to the heart, because I feel the same thing. Regarding Toastmaster Brian, I have a suggestion. Why don't you share your file on the screen with us in Zoom so we can see easier, so everybody can see it. It's similar like to all the other three, Connie, Ta, Toastmaster Connie, Toastmaster Ta, and also Toastmaster. They can use the PowerPoint presentation or I think PDF presentation that you can share on the screen. This is a good thing about the technology. So everybody can see the number, especially when talking about, when Brian are using a lot of figure, 12,000 here, 13,000, 200, 2%. I lost actually. Although I work with number quite often, but I'm lost. Just make it structure and make it presented much easier with the Zoom, share it with the screen. Okay. Now I would like to invite the timekeeper